It is my pleasure to be introducing our director and artistic director of the Shopmaster Chorale. Dr. Potter's study at Florida State University is holding degrees from Florida State, Portland State University, and the University of North Carolina at Dilworth. And he spent 30 years teaching at the middle school, high school, and university level. For 18 years, he taught choral music and music education at Wingate University. For the past 8 years, he has served as conductor and artistic director of the Charlotte Master Chorale. He also serves as choral conductor at Covenant Presbyterian Church here in Charlotte. And then recently, he transitioned to a new role in music education as vice president of publications for ECS Publishing. So he wears many hats. I can tell you that being under his direction for the last years has been wonderful. He is a great teacher. He's very organized with our time, which I love. Someone who's just super effective at, I think, meeting us with different learning styles. He is unfailingly kind to us and just very affectionate with us, so we feel that. And it's just been a real pleasure. So it's been fun.
And I have been a Dilworth resident since 2005. And so I've seen some of the changes, not as many as go back as I heard in years before. And I'm very proud of what we have in Charlotte and look forward to working towards making things even better. I'm going to just spend a few minutes talking to you about the arts and specifically music in Charlotte through the lens of the Charlotte Master Chorale. So the Charlotte Master Chorale, it's okay. You can raise your hands if or not, and it's no judgment at all, and no feelings are going to be hurt. Oratorio Singers of Charlotte. Does that ring a bell with anybody? I see some hands go up. All right. So the Oratorio Singers of Charlotte was established in 1951 as a group that would sing Messiah, right? Hallelujah Chorus, or Beethoven's Nine and Ninth Symphony, and they would sing with the Charlotte Symphony. Now, some of you are going to think, oh, you're being silly, but I'm actually being serious. Charlotte has a professional symphony orchestra. I assumed everyone knew that until I was having a conversation a couple months ago with a college-educated father of teenagers who looked at me and he said, well, who do you sing with? I'm with Charlotte Symphony. And it's like, what? And I said, Charlotte Symphony Orchestra. He said, oh, really? And so again, I want to assume that everybody knows we have a Charlotte Symphony professional orchestra. And when I say a professional orchestra, it is full-time players. That's their job, is to perform. And Charlotte's Oratorio Singers of Charlotte is a volunteer group that has performed over the many years with the Charlotte Symphony. Okay, fast forward to present. The Oratorio Singers of Charlotte, we changed our name because we wanted to do more than oratorio, because if I quizzed you on what an oratorio was, I think many of you would look at me blankly. Oratorio is simply a masterwork, an extended work, and we do other things as well. So we are now the Charlotte Master Chorale. We are an independent organization, and we rely on support from the community through ticket sales, through sponsorships. No, I'm not pitching a sponsorship, but let me know. And also we are working on funding, through, city and county, which is normal in most cities and counties across the country, is that there is, financial support, for the arts organizations. Charlotte is a unique situation that isn't fully advantageous for all the arts organizations. I think I said that very well, politically, but that's another conversation. So the Charlotte Master Chorale, what do? We are a group of over 100 singers from 9-ish counties, and who convene every week. And we rehearse, and then we offer performances. Performances that offer arts opportunities for the community, as well as arts education. And we focus our energies on high school students. So for example, tomorrow, Phil Biedenbender, who is the managing director, as well as other hats for the Charlotte Master Chorale, he and I will be working with 50 high schoolers from across the city in preparing for auditions that they're going to be participating in a couple of weeks. The following week, we have an audition, we have a performance opportunity that is free to the public. And that's one of the things that we are trying to help the public understand, is that arts isn't just for the Bell Theater in Blumenthal Center. Arts can be in other locations, and it is something that we all can do. We all can come in and do a sing-along. We just demonstrated that. I was listening. And by the way, there will be a sing-along next week. So Charlotte sings actually next Saturday, 4 o'clock at Covenant Presbyterian, which is in Dilworth. It's a free concert. And what we are trying to do, one of our missions, particularly this year, is we're trying to raise the awareness of all the music and all the singing that's going on in Charlotte. We have 9, including us, or 8 including us, choirs that are community choirs in Charlotte, just in Charlotte, that are going to be coming to Covenant Presbyterian, and that means right at 300 singers. So we'll have 300 singers next week. And what is it for? It's for all the choirs to sing for the audience as well as each other. And then it's to help everybody understand, oh, this choir does this type of music, and this choir a cappella music. So if you're gone to college in the past 20 years, you might know about your a cappella group at the college you went to. Then there's the classical. And so there's all these different types of performances that will be happening throughout the year by all the different community choirs. Charlotte Master Chorale is the largest, and we don't say this to pat ourselves on the back, but we are the symphony chorus, so we're the flagship ensemble for community choirs in the city. And so we're trying to lead, but rather than lead and look down upon, lead and reach out towards the other organizations. And so that's happening on Saturday. If you enjoy concerts, or maybe if you don't really consider yourself a concert goer, I want to invite you to that event, 4 o'clock, free, 90 minutes. So little commitment, and I promise you this will be great. But I also want to offer an invitation for folks to come on October 4th, Friday, October 4th. We are performing a unique performance of an oratorio to the story of Elijah, the Old Testament story of Elijah. And we're doing it with the Charlotte Symphony. And we are going to, it's a great date night, if you want to look at it that way. 7:30, it's 90 minutes. And we are presenting the way you're starting to see classical music, more and more classical music is being presented in a more immersive way. Now, raise your hands if you were aware, or maybe you attended the Van Gogh exhibit a few years ago, right? Most people did. It was really cool. It was really cool. It was an immersive experience. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, imagine in this room, there were all these LED projectors, and you stood and it placed you into a painting of Van Gogh. Walls, ceiling, floor, the whole thing. And it immersed you in that experience. In music, outside of putting you on the stage in the middle of the orchestra or choir, there are ways that we can do that. And one way we're doing it is we are presenting it with some staging and some lighting. So picture a concert that you go to, especially if it's an orchestra concert. Typically, you sit, you applaud lightly, maybe at the end, you stand up. And it's more two-dimensional. We are working towards making it three-dimensional, and that is the trend that's happening in arts all across the country. And so we have singers that are coming in from all over the country, of the soloists who are coming from all over the country, as well as we are going to do staging and lighting with that. That's at Queen's University. One other thing that makes this concert unique is I want for you to imagine, since you're looking this way, imagine this is the stage. The singers will rap all the way to there, all the way to there, giving you a surround sound, right? And again, this, I wouldn't call this, this is somewhat unique. This is happening in other places as well. But we are trying to help everyone really experience the power of music. And go to our website as well to learn about the other programs that we have. We will be doing a community concert in December with WPAB. We participate with the Charlotte Symphony as their go-to choir. So we're singing with the new conductor. Did you know we have a new conductor? That's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it only happens every 7 to 10 years where there's a new conductor for the symphony. And Kwame Ryan is going to bring an excitement and energy to that. And we have more concerts in the spring. I won't get too far ahead, but I wanted to just let you all know about that. I'm going to stop and just say, does anybody have any questions about Charlotte Master Chorale, Arts in Charlotte? What else is going on? Okay. Let's go over here, yes.
I know that this is the beginning of a month's worth of entertainment all around the city. Are you all participating in that other than the church next week?
The primary focus for us in this month is the concert next week, Charlotte Sings. And that's, again, that's an intentional title, Charlotte Sings. So that is inclusive, and I'm not sure where it says Charlotte Master Chorale in that title or even in the list of choirs. Yeah, we're just, even though we're hosting, that's just in the list of choirs, Charlotte Sings.
I have not seen anything about it. Do you need more publicity?
Absolutely. Yes, of course we need more publicity, always.
How are you promoting?
That's a great question. He is not expecting to speak, so I'm putting him on the spot. Bill, do you want to?
So the interesting thing about our organization is that when you're our size, the majority of ticket sales happen in the last week. So now as we are entering the 8th day before that performance, you will start seeing a bunch of stuff on social media. That's our primary outlet for communication, as well as our mailing list. And then the majority of community choirs get connections to audience members through their singers. So if you haven't attended a concert or if you've never, been on Facebook and all of a sudden looked at a choral alert, it's very likely that you won't see any information about these classical performances happening. So take a look on our Facebook, our Instagram pages, as well as our website. We can send some information for me too.
We put a link in next week's Dilworth as well. So,
No, that's good. Yeah, that's good. This question.
That answered mine.
What else? Anything else about?
Can you give us a little history of how Charlotte Master Chorale spun out of the symphony, of, the genesis of this new organization?
Yes, so, Romy, stop me if you notice people's eyes turning back. But I'll try to keep this concise. So in, as I said, 1951, Charlotte Master Chorale, and it was a 501c3. And it was a 501c3 until 1993. And there was a downturn in the economy, and the Charlotte Symphony was struggling, and the Charlotte Master Chorale was struggling. And Arts and Science Council, ASC, they were a really big player. They're not a big player anymore, or they're certainly not as big as they used to be. But they were a big player, and they said, you know what, guys, you should just merge. And so we merged. And so Charlotte Master Chorale for 25 years functioned under the umbrella, organizational umbrella of Charlotte Symphony. In 2018, Charlotte Symphony made the decision, you know what? We need to go a different direction from a programming perspective. This was not a, we're better than you, or you don't belong with us. It was, we're going to program orchestral music. We know you want to do music that requires choir. And so we suggest you go independent. And so in 2018, we became a 501c3 again. But yet we've been in the same organization for over 70 years. And so we started from scratch, and it was around this time in 2018 when we had our first concert program, and we looked at our ticket sales, and we had sold 8 tickets. And we had a big budget for the concert that we had to pay, and we were committed, and the board freaked out. If you fast forward a couple months, everything got paid, enough tickets were sold, and it set us on a path of success. And since 2018, so this is now the 7th season of being the Charlotte Master Chorale. We have ended in the black every year, and not many arts organizations can say that. Certainly in COVID, and I'll come back to COVID in just a second. And we have continued to grow and flourish. Our staff has grown. Our social media presence has certainly grown. And so it's an exciting time for arts, particularly for Charlotte Master Chorale. And I think that we're on an upward trajectory. It's interesting, in 2020 in March, we were all watching the news about COVID, especially when we were home a lot. And it was interesting that choirs became a focus of COVID. And one reason is because it spread among choirs because it was an airborne illness. And of course, and so COVID had a disproportionately stronger effect, or more negatively effect on choirs, which makes us even more proud that we were able to keep our budget. And again, we're growing, and who knows? I was just how growing. We got 20 new singers this year, so maybe there are some areas. Yeah. There's a lot going on, a lot happening, with Charlotte National Chorale. What else? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, yeah, you alluded to this earlier when you mentioned the Arts and Science Council and the fact that they were once, of course, a huge player, now not quite so huge. If you could just give from your organization's perspective, arts funding in Charlotte. I know we can we could go on for days and it's dangerous territory, but, yeah, I would love to hear your perspective.
Disclaimer, he runs promising pages. So which is also
Another nonprofit, a non-arts focused nonprofit, but being in the nonprofit world, just in layman's terms, where are we with arts funding in Charlotte and where do you see it? How do you see it evolving in the coming years?
Sure. Very brief history. Arts and Science Council, no, actually, we could back up. I'll try to make this brief. Charlotte funding, government funding, city and county was very strong, until there was a play that you've heard of called Angels in America. All right, and Angels in America has nudity on stage, and Bill James, remember that gentleman? He raised a ruckus and said, you know what, that shouldn't be voter or taxpayers' money going towards art that we don't have control over. So they cut it. But that left a vacuum. Arts and Science Council stepped in, and in about 5 to 8 years, Arts and Science Council became the national model. Everybody was coming from all over the country, were coming to see what the Arts and Science Council was doing, because every business, or Bank of America, guess what? You gave to the Arts and Science Council. It was expected. And so the Arts and Science Council became, again, a nationally recognized organization. Over the recent years, it has started declining. All right. Now, the Charlotte has recognized that there's a vacuum again. And they hired a person to oversee taxpayer funds going towards the arts. And again, it's normal in most cities that a very small portion of taxpayer funds goes to support the arts. And right now, where we are is that city council, as well as the arts czar, she creates an art. They are wrestling with the most equitable way to spend the money. Now, we're in charge, it would have already been decided. But we all know that things take longer when the more people do perform. And so, right now, arts funding is not at a place where it is in most cities. So, try to make that concise to give you. Yes.
What caused it to start declining? If it was the model
Yeah.
and other people were using it, what happened to cause it to go down?
What causes most businesses to diminish and decline? Normally it's leadership or not recognizing changing plans. That answer your question?
Marketing.
So again, that's not, and I'll go ahead and tell you specifically for us, all right, I'll go ahead and just go there. For us, we are a 70-year-old organization, but we're only recognized as being since 2018. And that puts us in a really awkward position because we haven't been around long enough in the city council's eyes to be eligible for the $15 million. Not asking. 5 figures. Let's just do 5, not 8. and we're not eligible for that, which is in the property. It's fine.
How old do you have to be eligible?
Well, 3 years, so do the math. Yes, exactly, you went, what? Yeah, it was 3 years, but it was before 2020. It's, yeah, so again, it's an interesting place that we are specifically in. I promise I didn't come to talk to you about.
We just.
Sorry.
You're asking, yeah, because of that, they looked at 2020, and they said, okay, all of the organizations who have been around for 3 years or more are eligible to apply for this $15 million that the city's gonna, apply to the arts. And so we weren't included.
2017 through 2020 isn't the years.
We weren't eligible until 2018. Until 18. Because we became independent in 2018. See, we didn't have our 5.3. Yes.
Another question, how much of your budget comes from ticket sales and how much from philanthropy?
Ticket sales only about 15 to 20% here. The majority, about 50 to 60% is philanthropy.
And that's actually fairly normal. The Charlotte Symphony, president, CEO sits on our board, and our president sits on their board. And you know, I have heard over and over again, 30% ticket sales is about normal for the overall budget. And if you're a business mind, you're immediately like, wait, and that's you. But that's the arts. And we have to decide, you know, what is the value of the arts? And I think that if you look over time, when you go to Paris, you're not going to Paris necessarily to see a sports stadium. You're going to see what has stood the test of time, and it's typically arts and architecture. If that's even Charlotte, you know, what do we brag about? Sports teams right now. Hopefully it will be, because I'm a big sports fan. But it's the Backroom Museum. People are taking pictures. A whole lot more people take pictures in front of the fireworks statue than in front of Bank of America Stadium. So, anything else? Yeah. And please, if you come to any of the concerts, and we hope you do, please wave. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good.
You try and get them up.